Hello mate, and welcome to another Let's Code season. Unlike all my previous Let's Code seasons, you're seeing my face, which is unusual, but there's a reason for it. This first video is going to be talking about the fundamentals of the kind of way that we're going to be doing things, and I'm going to talk about the foundations that we're going to build upon, because previously in the Let's Code seasons, all we've done really has been coding in RenPy with a little bit of Python layered on top of it, and that is not the most efficient way of doing things in the case of what we're going to do in this Let's Code season. And I'm also going to tell you what we're going to do in this Let's Code season. So let's get on with it then. So what we're going to do this season is we're going to produce a series of mini games accessible from the main menu, which is also going to have a leaderboard on the main menu. Now, some of you might be asking, why are you giving this away for free when you could make that yourself and release it on Steam? Believe me, I'm very aware of that. However, kind of got my hands full with Deeper at the moment, so we're going to just build this and see where we go. We've got a number of mini games that we're going to work on, and I will reveal each mini game as we're about to start each one. I don't want to give a list away right at the beginning. And then we're going to build them, and then we're going to talk about each one as we go along. We're going to use slightly different bits and pieces for each one. But in order to do that, what I need to do in this video is actually explain how RenPy works and which parts of it we're going to exploit and which parts of it we're going to ignore. And there's a good reason for that. So you see, Python is a really strong, powerful programming language which has a number of what we call modules or libraries attached to it. Much like in C#, those of you that have used C# in Unity will know that if you want to use certain libraries, you will say using blah 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 at the top of the code in each file that you're going to use. Well, RenPy can do the same thing, but RenPy has an entirely different kind of way of doing it. But essentially what we can do is we can leverage some of those modules in order to access certain commands. So for example, if we wanted to round up our numbers, if we had a number that was like 43.727, if we wanted to round that up so that it was just 43.3 or 43, we would need to use the round function. Now the round function is not a Python function, it is a function of the math module in Python. So in order to use that command, we have to type import math at the beginning of our code file so that we can actually use the functions within that module. Now, these modules are not rocket surgery. You could code them all yourself if you wanted to, because funnily enough, they're all written in Python. So if we wanted to code let's say create our own command that's convert a car name into a tree name, for example. This is a completely nonsense explanation, but what I'm trying to do is explain how it works. We would define a function called car2tree or whatever we call it, and then we'd add some brackets at the end of the name, and then we'd input what parameters we want to be able to feed into our command, our function. Then we code in what the function does, and then at the end we put return and what the output of our function will be. Then when we want to use that function, all we do is we invoke it by calling the name of it. We put in the two parameters that we want to be, i.e. in this case, we will put in the name of the car that we want to convert. And then at the back of it, whatever we return will be whatever the function returns. So we can actually code our own functions, and we're going to be doing quite a lot of that in this Let's Code season. So this is going to be a very Python heavy season. We're going to leverage the parts of RenPy that we need because, funnily enough, RenPy is a module. Yes, it's built in Python, and you can invoke it using Python taxonomy. So you can say, for example, say RenPy dot blah blah blah, whatever command you want to use. So there are Python equivalents to every command in RenPy. Some of them are a little harder to get to than others, but the majority of them are easily accessible just using the Python code. So we're going to be using parts of it, particularly screen language, because the screen language parts of RenPy allow us to put things on the screen easier than if we were to say use something like Pygame or one of the other graphical modules. So think about it like this. At the bottom of all of our RenPy games, whatever your RenPy game is, even if it just says, hello, my name's Eileen, and shows a picture of a half drawn black and white character, that's still Python code on the bottom layer of it. RenPy sits on top of that. We might be saying screen whatever. That goes into the RenPy module. It gets translated into a command that's written in Python, and then the Python actually executes it. So all we're going to be doing is utilizing that functionality to be able to code our own games in the most efficient way that I can possibly think of. Now, disclaimer, as with all of the other Let's Code seasons, I may not be doing this the university level way or the perfect way that other professional coders that have been doing it for decades might do it, doing it the way that I thought of to do it. Okay, so before anyone starts commenting saying, oh, I would have done it this way, I would have done it this way, I don't care. I'm doing it my way, okay? Anyway, so that was just a little bit of a brief kind of introduction as to what we're going to be covering in this season. So stand by for the further videos where we actually start cracking the code and we take apart our RenPy files and things like that. Until then, stay awesome and take damn good care of yourselves, all right? Bye-bye.